Hi everyone, my name is Presley, and I am attending a high school program for students that are 18 to 21 years old at Riggs High School in Pierre. I'm 20 years old now, but I will be turning 21 in December. I have high functional autism, so I have a hard time with understanding some lessons when doing schoolwork and ask some questions. I struggle with telling time on a clock, but can tell time with digital numbers. It seems that I can do things better when I am working on my own. Others are not around or watching me. While in high school, I was part of Project Skills to gain work experiences. My job at Red Rosa turned into a part-time job for me. Now I work there on my own for 20 hours per week. This weekend, I will be moving to Britain, South Dakota, so I will be getting a new BR counselor, so I will need some assistance in finding a new job. They have a boutique there that I could work at. We'll also need some assistance with applying for SSI. My mom is looking into this process now, but we'll see. I feel like I am a creative and artistic person because I like to draw. I also like to sing, probably my dream job, singing. I really enjoy listening to music because it relaxes me and keeps my mind focused. I am a good worker and my coworkers like the work I do. I am good at bussing tables and balancing the plates as I take them to the kitchen area. The hard part of my job is knowing when to remove plates from the customers. Some people do not like it when I take their empty plates. Others get upset if I don't. I have to use my courage to ask them if they are finished. I have a lot of friends, but do not have much contact with them now because most of them are attending college somewhere. I do have good friends here, but I usually hang out with my family. I do my chores like I'm told, but now my younger siblings are old enough to help with them. Really do not like getting dirty. I guess you could call me a germaphobe. I also do not like getting cold outside. I like warm weather. I also do not like getting into arguments. So I avoid politics, especially now, and any type of drama, especially at work. I think coworkers and bosses should get along and just talk things out if they have a problem. I like warm weather, so summer is my favorite time of year. And someday I would like to live in a tropical area in an apartment with my friends that are in college. I love animals and would love to have a dog, but could not have one because I am not good at disciplining, training, or cleaning up after him.
Interesting. And I've known Presley for quite a while. She's a unique individual, and as you guys can tell, she had a lot to share. But we're going to start with Aaron and turn it over to you to see how you might be able to support her.
Well, it was very interesting to watch that. Presley has such a self-awareness that I think we could all take a lesson from that. And those are the kinds of things that we want to consider when we're making a plan for success, right? So there's a difference between having a job and working towards a career. And a lot of times you'll have a lot of jobs along the way towards that career. But Presley had some ideas about what she'd like to see. And it is never our job to say, you'll never be a singer. It is our job to say what community employers have something to do with music, because there are so many opportunities in just about every field, and sometimes we disregard some of the ones like singing. So I think it's really exciting to have that as a challenge to find a place that can help Presley develop those skills, that she can find meaning and joy in that career. The first thing I would do with Presley is work to establish a relationship with her and her VR counselor, and then start identifying those community resources that are around Presley. Make sure that she is taking advantage of every opportunity, every resource that's available to her. We would develop a plan with her, talk about what she would like to do long term. So she didn't really identify what she might have as an expectation for a career, but that's okay. This is the perfect time to start that exploration. We'd probably start her doing some job shadows around town. Again, this is a paid opportunity for somebody. So I know that she had expressed the need to find a job right away, and that is great. And if that is the highest need for her, then that's what we're going to focus on. But if she has the time and capacity to do that exploration, then that's really where I would suggest starting, and she can earn a little money while she does it. Bringing in business partners from the community who are willing to provide a little mentorship, a little bit of an education about what they do, potentially transition that into paid work experience. It's similar to what vocational rehabilitation has for their work experience. Ours is a little bit different. We pay the going rate of any entry-level employee. So if they're bringing somebody in and they pay 13 or 14 an hour, that's what we would want to pay, because we're trying to build that this is the expectation, right? This is what you'll experience when you go here. So there's just a wide sea of opportunities for Presley. And for somebody who has that level of self-awareness, I think that the career exploration could look like so many different things, and we could really dig in and provide a really meaningful exploration experience for her alongside our other partners in the community.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, I think you really kind of hit something there with the unique perspective of herself, because she's kind of going, I always kind of wondered that too, of going to a restaurant and you're as a waitress or a waiter and you're going to take a plate from somebody. Do I take it or don't I? And she ran into the situation where that's, you don't know unless you ask. And so she had to dig deep and say, I have to ask myself, should I ask them or not? Or so it's.
And that's why that job at Red Rosa was a meaningful opportunity for her. She learned that about herself. Those things, that self-awareness takes years to understand. I learn things about myself all the time. So the fact that she's taking note of the things that she likes and the things that she doesn't like is going to help her be successful in identifying a career down the road. When we have a lot of our youth who have a sure idea of what they want to do, and then when we get them there, they say, I absolutely hate this. We call that a success, right? We learn something. They learn something about themselves. And it seems like she's done a lot of that work already.
Yep. I think she also commented on the drama at the workplace and people getting along. So the culture of the workplace is probably going to play into where she's going to stick around. If people get along real well, they form a team, she'll probably be a big part of that place of business for a long time.
And she can provide that perspective to other youth, especially that we're working with. We always, we try and pair our youth together sometimes to give them that, that mentor each other, teach each other. They relate to one another sometimes in ways that we never can. I was giving a presentation not that long ago, and the girl said, "What are you, 30?" And I was, but that was her first that was her first thought about me when she saw me, was that you are generationally different than me. It's not that she didn't accept any influence. It's not that she didn't enjoy the presentation, but that was her first thought. That creates a barrier. She's somebody who not only, can benefit from that career exploration and continue to learn, but has the potential maybe to teach some of those things and to provide some of her experience to someone else.
Oh, great. Thanks, Aaron. Allison.
Yes, like you guys kind of said, I agree. It's awesome just to see how she is so aware of herself and setting those goals for herself and what she wants in life, which is huge at her age, and having that confidence, which is awesome. So kind of the first thing I would like to do with assisting her is, meeting with her and her mom and seeing what other agencies they are currently working with, just to kind of see what kind of support I can provide, building that trust and that rapport with her, and seeing how I can help her and benefit with her plans and her goals and for the future. And so the number one thing that kind of struck out to me is applying for disability. So as with my agency, that is one huge service we do provide. It is very detailed. You may come across with families that just want to just get started with of how you get started with applying with disability. Where some want to get that full out assistance in that process. And so that is something that as a specialist, we can do with them one-on-one and going through that process, the whole entire process of them either getting approved or denied. We will work on the appeal, etc. So I think that would be a huge service to provide with her. Another one is she kind of talked about maybe in the future getting her own apartment. That is another skill that ILC can assist with, is maybe practicing filling out housing applications, maybe what she would like to look into, a 1-bedroom, those kinds of things, learning those skills, maybe budgeting, what it all entails to be living on your own and how much things cost and what's out in your community and other resources that she could maybe get in touch with. Another one is maybe just peer support. She seems like a very outgoing girl, so building those friendships, getting more friends, attending maybe a support group. I would like to advance mine since we're not able to have the support group in person right now. I'm in the process of making a Zoom support group, so that could be something that could benefit with her too. Having a peer support visitor contact her maybe once a month. Always advocacy is huge at this age, and learning how to speak up for yourself, maybe practicing those scenarios for when she is out in maybe the community or at her job and how she can approach things in an appropriate way. And lastly, attending our summer transition program. We can always, you may know your skills and everything, but you can always increase those skills and benefit yourself going forward. And like I said, building those friendships and maybe getting in contact with other agencies that are out there that you could benefit from. So, I just see a lot of different things that she can benefit with our services. And so I would love to be able to help her out right now if I could. So yeah, that's pretty much it with ILC.
Yeah, she had mentioned that she had moved to Britain. So she's up in that neck of the woods now. So sounds like she's got connected to a new VR counselor now, and she's up there. She did attend the Youth Leadership Forum. And so she was, she kind of did a turnaround after she went to the YLF and started looking more deeper into the things that she liked, didn't like. And so we kind of wanted to toot our horn that she did meet all of us, and she was kind of one of those people you didn't know too much about until after she left. And then she kind of talked quite a bit and wanted to do more. So thank you, Allison. And Katie and Emily.
Yeah, so one thing that kind of struck me is that she participated in Project Skills in high school, and they found her a job, and I'm assuming her case was closed, but Presley knew well enough that she could come back to Voc Rehab for services. So I think that's an important thing to mention, that if you're working with Voc Rehab and your case is closed for whatever reason, it's not a one and done service. You can always come back. We serve people from ages 14 to people in their 80s and 90s. As long as there's a disability and a desire to work, people are always welcome to apply for Voc Rehab. So I wanted to give Presley kudos for knowing that she could come back and apply for services again. And along those lines of self-awareness, I think one of the first things that would be great to start with is starting a list of what works and doesn't work, or what she likes and doesn't like, to kind of get that list started. She's already self-aware, but kind of putting it down on paper to start seeing themes. And that would help with that career exploration piece. If she starts doing job shadows with Erin in the Department of Labor, We can continue to add to that list as she tries more things and learns more about herself. We'll just keep that running list. She could do the virtual job shadow with us too, and start watching some different careers that might be of interest to her. And again, just keep into that running list of what she likes and doesn't like. That way we can continue to have those conversations and not miss a key factor that might be of interest to her to be the most successful on a job or in a career once we get to that point. Once she has an employment goal in mind of what she wants to do, we can assist with job development. That's where we help her look for leads, help her fill out applications, do that resume and career letter development, prep her for the interviews, do some mock interviews with her and just get her prepared and how to follow up with employers. And once she has a job, we'd make sure that there's a job coach on there with her. She mentioned that she struggled with telling time on certain clocks, and sometimes it was hard for her to stay focused. So there's a lot of accommodations that job coach and her counselor can help narrow in to make sure that we're giving her the best chance at success. So with the time telling, maybe it's just making sure she has the right kind of clock to let her know so she understands when's the time to clock in, clock out, when should she take her break, and when should she come back without getting into trouble because it's going too long, just because she is struggling with understanding the clock that's at the employer as it is now. Or with staying focused, maybe having something like a written task list of what all she needs to do so that she can just check things off as she's getting things accomplished, so that she stays focused on her tasks instead of having to go around and ask people what should she do next. So coming up with those accommodations and providing those supports through a job coach would be very valuable for Presley. And then we'd also do on-site monitoring, making sure that we're checking in with Presley, making sure we're checking in with her supervisor that to say things are going well, or if there seems to be any issues, we can tackle those issues head on before they become a huge problem. We can get ahead of those to make sure she's successful. And like everybody else said, making sure that she's connected to the right agencies in the community, to making sure she's getting all the supports that she needs, whether it's the IL Center, doing a shared case with Department of Labor for services that they can provide that we can't, and vice versa. And then once if she is approved for disability benefits, making sure she's hooked up with Rhonda or one of her coworkers so that she understands the impact of employment will have on that disability, those disability benefits.
Wonderful. That's a big key. Is sometimes people get on the benefit and then they think, well, here I've got it, now I can go rock and roll, and or they think they have to limit how much money they make. So
Right.
Rhonda, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you address that.
Yeah. So as Allison said, the first thing that jumped out at me is that she has applied for disability benefits and is waiting to hear. And that is a very critical time for people. All of the work incentives don't come into play, or most all of them don't come into play until after the person gets the benefit. And so being conscious of the rules while they're waiting to hear is very, very important. And I would absolutely make sure that they get in contact with Independent Living Choices to get some help with that. I would also go over the basics of the resource amount, the $2,000 resource amount, if that person is going to get SSI. And I say if, because 20, 30 years ago, most 18-year-olds, they're going to get SSI and nothing else. But the rules have changed, and young people, they need less credits, way, way less credits than people my age. 40 is what the number of credits that I needed in order to draw a different benefit than SSI. Young people need just 6. And so you'd be surprised at how many young people actually are qualifying for disability insurance benefits. So I would also go over some basics with that and try to get some information about work they've done in the past. But you'd also be surprised at how many people find out about a bond or a savings account that grandma and grandpa set up for that young person years ago. So I would really go over the resource amount detail, and again, talk about the ABLE accounts that are available. I'd definitely want to ask some questions about the organizations that they're working with right now. But I would also want to talk about the student earned income exclusion. And I know that she has not been accepted for benefits yet. And if she is going to be receiving SSI, getting detailed information to Social Security before she even gets the SSI about any student status is going to help to make that eligibility and payment process quite a bit easier. When somebody is applying, they don't realize that some of those different phone calls are very important, and to look over the different I guess words, I can't think of a word, the different documents that they receive from Social Security that overview their conversations and identify student status. There can be a young individual that is in high school still, and if their documents say they're not a student, they're going to have issues with identifying that later down the road. So I would really stress the student earned income exclusion and some of the different rules to remember until they're found eligible.